honored guest, and my brothers. Upon entering the seminary, I took my Bible verse from Corinthians 2:9. This was part of the second reading last Sunday. I considered dropping this from my speech, but by God's providence, I feel I must include it because it sums up my vocation story that deals with God using a lot of different signs calling me to discern the priesthood. But as it is written, what eye has not seen, nor ear has not heard, and what has not entered the human heart, what God has prepared for those who love him. My vocation story starts with Father Ralph Zimmerman asking me if I should be doing something other than farming and working at Fleet Farm. Then he says, I have this feeling you are being called to do something else. I did not answer. Instead, I reflected on those questions, and it brought back memories of playing priest when I was 4, and also in the joys of serving Mass. It also brought back a bad memory of when I was in 4th grade, and I fainted while watching surgery being done on a cow. Since I have a soft stomach, I felt I never would be able to give the last rites. Over the next 3 months, I had 3 different dreams. The first, the most vivid, was I was at Mass with my arms extended outward during the Eucharistic prayer. The next dream, I was carrying around vestments and talking about them to a class. The third dream, I was presiding at a wedding. At this point, I shared with my family that I was considering the priesthood. My mom was deeply concerned how people would treat me. She also mentioned my greatest fear of passing out. My brother and sister-in-law asked if I considered being a deacon. They wanted to see my future family. Another 7 months passed, and my greatest fear turned into reality. I received a message at work that there had been an accident in my brother's family. My 5-year-old niece, Courtney, was not in good condition. Courtney was attending a birthday party at the Holiday Inn when she passed out in the hot tub. A lifeguard who was in the hot tub when this happened pulled Courtney out. The nurses who was at the birthday party tried to revive Courtney, but was not able to. I walked into the emergency room to find Courtney lying lifelessly on the bed. Looking back at this experience, I realized I could have gave Courtney the last rites if I was a priest. I took this to be another sign from God. 2 days later, my family and I had a meeting in the cemetery. My parents decided to move their burial plots to a new section so our family would be together. I was not included in this planning. After I left the cemetery, my brother calls me up and tells me that they had to shift the burial plots down a spot due to problems with the placement for the future headstone. This opened one spot for me. I thought to myself, what good is one burial plot going to do if I get married? With both my parents looking at me as I hung up the phone, I told them my future plans are changing. I was seriously going to pursue the priesthood after receiving all these signs. They both agreed. A few days after the funeral, my dad and I was out in a field, and I could see the church steeple over his shoulder when he tells me, "You will not know if you do not go to the seminary to find out if you are supposed to be a priest. You can always come back to the farm if it does not work out." In the fall of 2011, I left the farm and entered the seminary. In my time here at the seminary, I have received many graces that God has prepared for me along my journey. May we all have the faith to trust the Lord in what he has prepared our vocation to be in our lives. Amen. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever.